Yes. Hey everybody, welcome to our first live that I'm doing with my psychic bestie, Lydia Dustin. So I'm Lisa Campion, this is my psychic bestie, Lydia Dustin, and we wanted to just pop in here today. So we're getting close to Valentine's Day and talk about love and talk about soulmates, because soulmates is a kind of a big question that people have in the spiritual psychic realm. And I feel like there's a lot of myths, misconceptions, painful lessons that can be had on the soulmate topic. And this is the first time I've done live, and I'm just so grateful to have Lydia with me. Lydia is one of my besties ever. I love me a fellow psychic, and Lydia is an amazing psychic. So I'm super happy to be here with you today, Lydia.
Well, thanks for having me, because I love talking about love and soulmates and romance, and it's always the first question. Usually it depends. It's usually always the first or the second question. It's like career or love. That's always the stuff people know.
It's always the stuff people ask psychics about, right? And I feel like also like people ask about life purpose, which we should talk about some other time. But what do you think it is about soulmates that just makes people go like, I got to know about that? Where's mine? Where's my soulmate, right? That's what everybody wants to know.
I mean, is the issue chick flicks and romance novels where it's like, like she sees him from across the room and she knows, and like this Hollywood unrealistic expectation that people are hoping to have? You think?
I mean, it could be. I think it's that. It's like I was, kind of during my formative years watching Disney movies and watching the 1980s like John Hughes movies like 16 Candles and stuff, which is where that happens. They lock eyes across the room, and I think we have this kind of like you complete me kind of like longing, like if I'm like not happy and then I'm going to meet my soulmate, and somehow that person, it's like the Lego version of relationships, like you fit together like Legos, and then you're fine, like you're somehow all your problems are solved and you're going to be happy forever after, and they just are responsible for your happiness. I don't think that's really how that goes.
Like Cinderella, like,
yeah,
now I'm a princess and I have no problems. It's that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. And I think from like a spiritual perspective, like I always define soulmates as somebody that you have a past life connection with, like you've been with in many lifetimes, and you have like a contract to come down here and do a little more work together. And I never, first of all, I never think we just have one, because that's ridiculous. Like, what would happen if that person like popped off the planet or whatever? Then you'd be out of luck. So I think we have this tribe, like this soul family, right? Not like a one soulmate. And then I think a lot of times it's like the truth is like it's our most painful relationships, our most difficult relationships. I always say like your soulmates are the people in your life you can't get rid of, even if you wanted to. Right? Like your ex and your mother-in-law and your, friend that doesn't talk to you anymore. Like, I don't know, like it's sometimes kind of painful.
It absolutely is painful, because people really think there's like this magical partner, but it's like a tribe of people. And half of those people are here to teach us through pain and suffering, to have boundaries and to learn things. And it's rough. It's rough. And also people don't get that sometimes soulmates come in for a season or to like go through something with you and then they're gone. And people always try to hold on to people, and that's not how it works.
I love that. Hi Diane. Diane saying hi. I always see soulmates as kind of like in this spiral, you know what I mean? Like this sort of spiral pattern. And the people at the center of the spiral are like your inner circle kind of people, and then you go out maybe on the outer edges of the spiral or the friends for the season, or even that person you only met once. I mean, the outer edge of the
Right.
spiral, there might be somebody you like. Remember this very specific conversation I had at a train station in Paris when I was in my 20s because I was doing a semester abroad. And this man that I'd never met before came up and started talking to me like he knew me, and gave me the what for, like, what are you doing with your life? Blah, blah, blah. And just all this advice. And I was like, whoa. And then I never saw him again. But I really feel like it changed my life. You know what I mean? I feel like somehow like he
Yes.
reoriented me back on my track. And I think sometimes our soulmates can come in and sort of it's like a one-hit wonder kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I know I've had people that I don't recognize come up to me and be like, oh my God, I met you in my friend's house. And like, you said something to me. And it's almost like we just we say one thing, and that's probably what they need to hear. And I think as we're
Yeah.
psychic, we download that. And
Mhm.
we're like in their soul tribe. So we get the message and we
Yeah.
help them. I always have to figure out the why. I'm like the skeptical psychic. Like, why does that happen? But why? And like, why do we come with, do you explain to the people if you think we come with the same people in different roles?
I mean, I think we do. I mean, I think in our original soul family, we have kind of like, like a group, and that we have many incarnations with those in many different iterations. Like maybe you were, your kids, maybe your kids were your parents last time around. Maybe you were brother and sister with your spouse. I think we swap roles a lot with people in the inner circle. And then I think there are other kind of fresh people that also come in to our mix because you can't. That I've seen people have like really beautiful, powerful, amazing, romantic, spiritual partnerships with somebody that was the first. This was the first meeting. They didn't have a long past life history with that person. And is that a soulmate? I mean, maybe. It can. I don't know if we always like. Sometimes a fresh start and some fresh blood is a good idea.
Definitely. And also, I feel like the key to those relationships is that it's easy, like
Mhm.
if it's easy and you don't have to try, you don't have to play games. It just, you fit together
Yeah.
and you carry on with your
Yeah.
life. Like that's,
Absolutely.
and this picture people have painted of this like love, hate, passion. Like I hear that a lot about the twin flame soulmate, that it's like this
Mhm.
passion of like love and hate and you can't get rid of them. And I'm just like, no, thank you. Like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
like,
I know. I always think there's like, I mean, there's a couple of there's many different types of soulmates too. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
I call that the in your face, the in your face soulmate, where that person comes up, and often it's like a really passionate, like hot chemistry relationship, and it's very like intense, and that's that love hate thing. And I think the point is to sort of like dig up all your stuff and put it in your face and kind of
Yeah.
give you an opportunity to work through your childhood woundings or help you learn how to set a boundary, or like it's very transformational. It could be like an initiation experience, like a really passionate love affair can be like in like crack you open at another to another level of your own being, and that's the purpose of that relationship. And then you're cracked open and bye-bye, like purpose served. You know what I mean? And we have that expectation that it's going to be a happy ever after, but maybe that's not what's in the contract, right?
Right. And that's where so many people get stuck, because they have this idea that they have this one soulmate and that's how it's supposed to be. Then when it's over, they get stuck and like they can't move on because they can't get over that person. I'm not talking from personal experience. Okay. So I'm totally talking from personal experience. Boyfriend, I won't use his name, but I met him and I knew like he was my person. Like, I'm like, we're going to get married. Like, this is it. And I was so sure. And then when my guts were like all over the floor and he walked away, I still was like, no, but that's my person. Like, I know like, I couldn't get it through my head that that wasn't going to work out. And That's
Well, I think like
hard.
worked out is kind of a funny thing because maybe it did work out. Maybe it did what
Right?
it was supposed to, but in our mind we
Mhm.
think, oh, that's my forever person, and I don't know, that might not be like I feel like there's a different kind of soulmate that is what I call it the shoulder to shoulder soulmate. And it's like where you walk through life like holding hands with the person and we're like two horses that are kind of pulling the same wagon. And those relationships are so much more easy, like, they don't always have the same chemistry. And so I think I've seen a lot of people, but there's harmony, there's love, there's friendship. It's like I married my best friend. When you hear people say I married my best friend, it's
Mhm.
those harmonious ones. And I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of people like ditch that person for
Mm-mm.
trying to find the flash, you know, really sparky soulmate. And I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
That
Right?
right after I was crushed by the first guy. I really was like already deciding that I was just going to get a bunch of cats and like it was over for me because I was older. And then I met my baby and my
Right.
steady Eddie, and saying like the difference is like we're just like together forever because like it's comfortable. It's not like, oh my God, is he gonna come home from work tonight? Oh my God. Like you can't live like that. Like that is not healthy. And the universe would never they would never put you in a long-term relationship where you're having stress. The universe wants you to be
Right.
peaceful. And so many women come to me because they want to ditch their steady Eddie to follow this chaotic soulmate situation. And it never ends well. I mean, it's great for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a little bit like the thing with the twin flames too, like people get I think Twin Flame has like a lot of I mean they just did that sort of like Netflix series on twin flames, right? Like um uh, you know w- kind of like there can be sort of this toxic culture I think around twin flames. And first of all, I think it means different things to different people, right? Like what does twin flame mean to you, Lydia, if anything?
Um, Twin flames means to me that you meet a soulmate that is the same. Like when it's I swear I had a twin flame in college and we were so similar that when we were in unison it was magical. But like the dark side when we were out of sync was awful.
Hmm.
And we were just too much alike. Our energy was too much. And we
So
need
it's
to
like
date.
cut from the same cloth, like like kind of a more
Yeah.
of a cut from the same cloth kind of. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. And that was the closest. When we were he was almost like the male version of me. So when it was
Right.
good, it was amazing. And when it was bad, it was like it was a telenova, right? It was like a just
I never know like what, it means so many different that word twin flame means so many different things to different people. And some people say, well, your soul actually divides in two, like you're two halves of the same soul. And um I don't know if I see that. I mean, who knows? I don't know anything. Like maybe that's what it is. Like the only time I've seen that as a psychic for sure, where I'm like, oh my God, there's two people here that are sharing a soul. It was twin sisters, and they were
oh god.
kids. They were little, and it was really tricky because one of them was like totally good, and the other one was like the evil twin. You know what I mean?
Not the
And
evil
I
twin.
felt like their soul like kind of like I'll take all the light side and I'll take all the dark side, and I was like, what? Who, I don't. That was intense. I was like, wow, is that a twin flame? Like that seemed to me like it might be more like that. But I know a lot of people really feel, and I hear people all the time, it's like, I met my twin flame. Um, and I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it's like a really for a lot of people, it means like a really delicious, you know, harmonious, romantic soulmate relationship. So I'm just kind of gonna go with that because that sounds much better. That sounds like way
That
more
sounds
fun, right?
great. Let's order that, right?
Yeah, let's order that.
I
Totally
think
funny.
too, I mean, I've spoken to I mean, so thousands and thousands of people about the relationships, and I think to have like this the TV or movie relationship where you're like best friends, you're super hot in the bedroom, you're like you're just like newlyweds all the time for your whole lives. Maybe again, that could be a twin flame, but that is not the norm. The norm is like that is not
Mhm.
where you set your expectations, because that is, I have not found, I mean, some people are blessed with that, but that is not the normal everyday experience with like a 20-year marriage, you know?
No, I don't think so, and I feel like, relationships, long-term partnerships, marriages are a really beautiful opportunity for growth, and that often they kind of they're like mirrors for us that show us where we need to grow or show us our, our inner child work that we need to do. So they kind of replicate the energy that we have in our family of origin. And you really can't like work things out with your parents, anymore because that's just not possible. So it's like we get the same kind of patterning in our primary relationships, and then we're like, oh, there's an opportunity in like spiritual partnership is when you know that, and conscious relationship is when you know that and you take real responsibility for it. Like, oh my god, honey, that thing you said right now just triggered the heck out of me, but I know it's not you, I know it's my inner child. And I'm feeling like I'm remembering something that happened when I was little, and I'm so triggered, and my feelings are so hurt, and you stepped on my painful button, and I know that button is mine. And can you sit here and hold my hand while we talk about it? Like, then there's like all this potential for growth in a relationship. But I don't know if we really ever get to the part where you stop triggering each other. It's just how do you handle that? I think seems like the where the growth is.
Exactly. And so often, one of the, I usually see the wife, and they'll have so much stored up resentment that everything is like on him. It's his fault. He does this, he does that. But only when people can see the other person's point of view. And I don't know if we told people, but I read people from photographs. So if they bring a picture of their partner, then I can read the partner and be like, no, 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 like he is not purposefully hurting your feelings. He doesn't understand you have that expectation because you don't share what you want. You only share what you don't want, or whatever it is. And so
Mhm.
often it's like our inner child is in a relationship with them and our adult
Right.
self. It's really sitting in the back seat. Because I know even in my marriage, like we have been going to marriage counseling forever, not forever, but a couple of years. So now we can say like that beautiful language you were talking about. Because like you're not brought up
Mhm.
with that. You're brought up with like, he pissed me off, I'm going to give him the cold shoulder, and then he's like, why? He doesn't know what happened. They don't know. Men, I always say, they're not like women. Like they don't, I mean, some do, but they don't like spend that much time picking apart everything we say and do. They're kind of like
Mhm.
face value a
Right.
lot of the time. And sometimes
Yeah.
we make it really confusing for them. I know I do for
Yeah.
Dave.
I think marriage counseling is such a good idea and everyone should do it. Just because like you said, I don't feel like we're all playing with the same playbook. You know what I mean? We don't have the same set of rules.
Yeah.
We don't have the same toolkit. We don't and that marriage counseling, even if you only go for like 6 sessions, a few sessions, it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. But those sessions can give you like, how do you handle conflict? How do you, talk to each other? How do you work through things in a productive way? How do you like communicate with each other? How do you continue to create more intimacy and connection in the relationship? Like we don't have the same playbook. We don't have the same set of tools. So how is it supposed to,
Right.
you don't get like an onboarding process. Like when you get hired in a company, they're like, here's the manual, here's the employee handbook, right? But you don't get that
Exactly.
in a relationship.
That is so perfect. That is so perfect. Yeah, because they have no idea. So,
Yeah.
and so
And we
often
don't
we're not
have
in the
it,
same
we don't have
languages.
people, it doesn't matter who, whether you're married to a man, woman, like, alien, it doesn't matter who it is, but that, because we're just different. We grew up in different families. We have, and a lot of, I think, our thing, our expectations are not in our conscious mind. So we have unconscious expectations
Right.
that are running that we don't even
Exactly.
know about. So we need to know about that's why like really looking at it and coming up with the same tools, the same playbook, the same rules of engagement kind of, I think is something every couple should have.
Mm-hmm. Make it so much easier for everyone.
Yeah, like my two sons just got married this year, and I'm like, I wish I could give them like six couples counseling sessions as like their wedding present, you know. This would help a lot.
Exactly. Should we talk about compatibility and how because a lot of people are always they want to find love, and how would you explain to them like the best way to find a partner that is like energetically the right partner for them versus like who they think they want?
Right. And I think too, like a lot of times we find somebody we feel chemistry for, we feel an attraction to or a magnetism, and then we try to smush them into or the relationship into like something that works for us. So we're thinking about chemistry, but we're not thinking about compatibility. And I think compatibility is so important. You know, like do you have the same kind of lifestyle goals? Do you have the same values? Are you are you in alignment on some of the bigger issues of like money and children and you know um like those I think those are just as important as chemistry, probably more important for a like relationship success over a long term, right?
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also find that women and men, they will have an ideal, like the ideal type of person they want to be in a relationship, but energetically, that is not ever going to work out for them. Like if they're both leaders or they're both super sensitive and shy, or they're both like super doers. And it's like they want someone that's like them, but then but that never works out. And relationships, or oh my
Hmm.
gosh, sorry, my favorite, not favorite, but when people date the same person like over and over again and like energetically the same person, but like
Yeah.
in different, human form over and over and over, and it never works out. And that I find that is something that people do. They don't even realize it. Do you find that as
Yeah.
well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've done it. Yeah, I mean, I've done it too. And I think like that's where it's like really good to like work with a relationship coach or get some healing or do some inner child work or, really think about you can be more like conscious in what you're ordering up and like what are your red flags, that you're gonna kind of stay away from. And I was just at a listening to a speaker last night. This guy, he's actually a love coach. Super cool. His name is Rob Mack, and he was saying somebody asked him. He's like a celebrity love coach, and somebody asked him like, well, how do you accelerate the process of finding someone? And he said, you don't like you just want to work on yourself. You want to like be as happy as you can be. You want to be love yourself as much as you can and be as happy as you want to be so that you are vibrating really high and you're in this sort of state of love. You're in love with yourself. And then maybe you go out and if you know your super connector friends, like your friends like Lydia would be one of my super connector friends. She knows so many people, and you kind of like go to the parties that they like, put yourself out in the world and do some new
Yes.
things, like go outside of your ordinary track in your life. But it's like when we're
Yes.
radiating kind of like positivity and love, we're so much more likely to attract somebody than when we're radiating like need and like
Yes.
like
Yes.
desperation, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
Right.
like
So I call that the energetic Bluetooth speaker. That if you think of your Bluetooth speaker, your like smart speaker, you're putting out the vibe of what's inside of you into the space around you. So if you're putting forth like I never meet anyone, I'm so desperate, I'm getting older, then you put out that vibe. But if you're putting out like I like happiness and fun and confidence, then that's what people want. And yes, get out of the ordinary. I would say if you're invited, go. Just try new things, like groups. Just go once and see who's there. And never
mhm.
forget, our good friend Nancy Champion said the best place to find a handsome, eligible husband is at Whole Foods at dinner time. She said all the singles are buying their dinner.
That's so fun. I love that. That's so true.
Go
That's
there.
thank
Feel
you,
like
Pete, for that.
you.
Well, I know. Totally funny. Totally funny. And, Lydia, you have this incredible you mentioned it before, but you have this incredible psychic gift that I've never seen anybody else do, and that's the ability to look at people's pictures, and Lydia will look at a picture, and we've all everyone who knows Lydia has been like, "Look at this person I'm thinking about dating," or, "Look at this person I am dating," and Lydia will be like, give you the download, and she looks in their eyes and the difference between their right
Mhm.
eye and their left eye, and she can tell you everything really about what's going on with that person and what's in the relationship. It's just super accurate. It's really amazing. So I've never seen anybody have that gift before. How did you come up with that
Um,
idea?
I've just always known since I was little when people are talking to me, like if they're lying, if they're putting on a mask, like I could always see who people really are. And when I say a mask, I mean how they really feel. Like if you're in
Yeah.
a bad mood, you're not going to walk around and be like, we're going to be like, hey, I'm great. But like, you're not great. Because, like, we want to put on our best face. I've always been able to see through that. And in photographs, I can do it in person, but staring into someone's eye is like it's like too awkward. But I can see beyond their kind of personality into their programming, and and I can see like how they talk to themselves, like where they are emotionally, and it's hard because again, I think a lot of this is unconscious. People don't know that they are not emotionally available, or they don't know if they're like living in their logical mind, or they're living in like a victim paradigm. Like they don't know. They're just like living their life. But I can look at a person and just say, oh, geez, this guy, he's really emotionally unavailable for you. Like he
Mm,
can't access the
mhm,
heart. Or this guy, he has had a lot of pain and suffering, and he's, kind of wounded, and is going to take things personally, and like he's going to be hard to be in a relationship with. So,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
super
it's
cool and so accurate. I mean, it's so amazing to watch that unfold and see like so many times your predictions have played out, for me and for the peoples that I know too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that this idea of it's like so many layers to dating. And if people are really good at putting forth like who they want to be so much that that's all we see for like the first month or so until we really really get to know them, and then like we'll see their stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
Kind of have to get through that honeymoon period, right?
Mhm.
Where we're in that and in the honeymoon period in relationships, I think it's a lot of projection. We don't really know the other person. So
Right.
we project everything we want, we're looking at everything that's similar. Oh my God, you like that too? Oh my God, you're like, oh, I love that too. Like we're looking for the similarities. We're not really looking at the differences. We're ignoring some of the red flags,
So many
we're
red
just
flags.
we're just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to actually be in something, that it can take a while for that kind of like the rose colored glasses to come off our eyes and we actually get to see the other person for who they really are. I think it's really worth taking time for that process.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
hard because like our spirits, like our hormones, our energy is like so like in that elation of new love that we really
New
can't.
relationship energy is what they call
Yeah,
it, right?
it's the
Yeah.
worst. Just because I mean, it's the best, but you gloss over so much. I
Totally.
always say, listen to your friends, like your real friends that will tell you how it is, and you'll be mad at them, but they're usually right because they love you enough to pierce through the rose-colored glasses and just share their point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. I love that. Wow, well, I think we're coming down to our time. Let's see like if for people that are alone on Valentine's Day this year, what do we tell them to do? Like what's a beautiful way to spend Valentine's Day and not be sad about it if you don't have a sweetie?
Spend time with your besties. Make your besties your Valentine.
Valentine's Day.
Wow, Valentine's Day. And do what you love. Have joy. And even though I'm married 25 years, so like I buy myself flowers. I buy myself presents. Like if you want a house full of flowers, buy your own big beautiful box of roses. Because
Mm,
it's not about, it's not about being like having that other, like give to you because you're amazing and you're worthy,
I love
and
that.
give to your
That's so beautiful.
friends.
Such good advice. Thanks, Lydia. And thanks all of you guys for tuning in to our very first live. It's so exciting. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you again real soon. Happy Valentine's Day.